Hello, everyone. Sorry for silence and for waiting. I just was making tea after, let's say, an unsuccessful attempt to play some Heroes 5. I understood that the game is morally old in its randomization of skills, and just I don't want to destroy my nervous system by that, and undermining and spoiling my gameplay process and ruining my imagined build-up. I don't know why I should suffer like that, and why there is no patch to tackle that issue anywhere. And yeah, that random seed wasn't planted like it was in, for example, Civilization games, and that's very unfortunate. Yeah, let's say some things about the game we're playing now. It's not a surprise, I guess, for you. You know full well what's happening. It's Surviving the Aftermath. It's Stream 8. And I'm still building my wonderful, beautiful, charming colony, which I so love and cherish. And I'm gonna now just proceed. Let's check up what's happening here. Have the maintenance depot, which has to be addressing the buildings here, has to be caring about the buildings here, and I don't think it's enough to have one maintenance depot, and I'll have to build one more. So this one will be caring about the area that I just indicated, and I'll have one more that will be caring about the area here. And let me choose a place for that, probably here. Now there has to be a road leading to the entrance. Maybe a tiny road for a tiny place. Justin, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you again. How is everything? How are your studies? Have you got any philosophical questions for me this time? Because I'm now in a strategic game, and I think I have more mental capacity to address your questions properly, and at least I have more time to think, which doesn't have to be sacrificed, taken from the dynamics of the action game that I was playing. In the meantime, let's decide where Nelson should go with his 9 damage and terrible scavenging. It seems that Nelson isn't going to give me any quests. That's quite a shame. Now, I have 10 survivors here, so I have to send them to my colony. Now, can I demolish a scientific outpost, and what happens in this case? Studies are good. I have Greek lecture in an hour. Ooh, that's nice. Just think, I haven't asked, and if it's not a private question, just where are you from? And what university are you in? And back to the question, destroying a research outpost. I just need to destroy the one that has low income. For example, this one. No, this isn't it an outpost? This one is an outpost. What if I demolish it? What happens? Let's save the game. I surely want to demolish the outpost. Resources in the outpost and the settler will be lost. This action cannot be reverted. Okay, let's not. Nelson, I have good news. You're becoming a settler. Actually an engineer. Because I don't think I need you. You're a shitty specialist. So please stop wasting my colony's potential. Even though you're an astronaut, well, I have a great mission for you. You will found an outpost somewhere there. It has to be prioritized. I'm in Hoosier, so I'm from Indiana. Currently studying in Chicago. Uh-huh. I think I have to Google that because, well, I'm blushing now, but yeah, let me just... Uh-huh. Hoosier. Is it Hoosier? Is the official demonym for resident of the US state of Indiana. Hoosier. The origin of the term remains a matter of debate within the state, but Hoosier was in general use by the 1840s, having been popularized by Richmond resident John Finley's 1833 poem The Hoosier's Nest. Anyone born in Indiana or resident at the time is considered to be a Hoosier. Indiana adopted the nickname the Hoosier State more than 150 years ago. Well, my sincere apologies. I didn't know that. Being a Russian person, I am not very good at internal US geography. Well, probably I should be, because it's general knowledge. It's not something that is too hard to learn, and I've lost a specialist. By the way, why? She had 35 health, and the location should have been taken 10 health points per turn. That makes no sense. Let's load the game. Where I stopped, where I saved it. So, yeah, I'm sorry for not knowing that. And by the way, am I pronouncing it correct now? Hoosier, is it the correct pronunciation? Cool, perfect. That's not the easiest thing to remember, but I'll try. And I don't know much about Indiana, to be honest. What would you call the key knowledge points about your state? So 10 damage per 12 hours. Probably I miscalculated in the beginning. Maybe that was supposed to take 50 health, not 30, and that's why. Alright. Sorry, Kensai. Go back to the camp. Go back to the colony. Nelson, as I said, you have to become an engineer. And let's build the post again. An engineer depot. And has to be prioritized. And let's address my specialists here. They've uncovered some pills, some gasoline, but there is a more important issue at hand. They have to fight another bunch of bandits here. So please go, and you go too, and you join the crowd. Yeah, next turn 4 of them will engage and hopefully will be successful. Okay, what next? What are you doing? You're traveling to help fight the bandits here. Understood. We are a crossroads state. So if you are traveling through the Midwest, you likely travel through Indiana. We're well known for the Indy 500, which is one of the great auto races of the world. A crossroads state. That probably means that you have a lot of, well, intersections in terms of bus routes and train, well, railroads and probably airports, or it's just about cars, about classical roads. Now, what else can I change about this district? I actually think it's getting quite lovely. A very nice residential area with no production, just the most essential things. Yes, there is a radar, but well, that's I guess fine. There is water supply, but apart from that, it's mostly entertainment and healthcare and accommodation itself. So nothing more, nothing less. A perfect place to live, if you ask me. Oh, and schools, of course. By the way, speaking about schools, I have 31 children, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools. And that means I can teach 35 children at the same time. Not the worst number, mostly highways. We call them interstates. Was there a film called Interstate 60 with Gary Oldman? Yeah, there was this nice film Interstate 60, which I watched many years ago, and that was quite a nice movie actually. At least at that time, I, being not a big movie fan, I loved it, and maybe I should at some point rewatch. Well, if only I watched first of all hundreds of movies that I'm supposed to see before I move on. Look at this colonist. He's apparently glitching. I don't know what's happening to her, but well, passing through. Looks like she's passing away actually, because when you're doing this, probably your life has come to an end and you're just trying to, I don't know what, to escape this existential dread or whatever. Entertained, and she also is in agreement with something. She is very happy, she is well fed. No, she isn't well fed. She's actually hungry, and she doesn't have much contamination. So probably she's gonna die of hunger, which I cannot complain is, well deserved, I guess, if she's not adequate enough to save her own life. That's a pity. Now, Nelson, can you help with the construction here? And I understand I can send guys to fight. Yeah, please do. Cool. They probably shouldn't die during the first turn. Yeah, they all have enough HP to survive the first turn, and then I guess I'll just send back Turbine and Mingati to the camp, and Lancaster and Baron will finish the job. Now, what else? What else do I have to do? I was thinking that I need a... Oh yeah, the maintenance depot is under construction. As soon as it's finished, it has to care about this area here. And I probably need to order shipment of more components, but they are not offered by any settlement out there, so I have to wait. How much food do I have? Have too much bread, and actually overall too much food. Where is... I see. I need to enhance my production of bread stuff, because I'm getting too much wheat and flour. So let's do the following. Here I have firewood and wood for my mess hall here, but that will be really nice to have 2 bakeries nearby, and those bakeries will produce bread. I might have a bakery here, another one, I don't really like it because it kind of gets too congested here. So maybe a bakery. That has to be well thought through. Maybe one here. And maybe one here. Like this. Next to the lake. Why not? Now the road has to connect them. Go like this. And there has to be a water tower, of course, to give them some water supply. Now, how does that have to look? Maybe a small tower. What's this? Ah, Forester. I see. Forever caught in a state of unmovable movement. And what do you mean by that? Ah, the glitched woman. Yeah, I see. I see. Well, look, I have to address the specialists. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose some of them. 12 damage. Yeah, I think Lancaster can finish the job. And Turbine can go back home. Mingati can go back home. Baron should help Lancaster, because otherwise Lancaster will have to, well, just to feel lonely. I don't want that to happen. Back to bakeries. Back to bakeries. There has to be some food storage, right? Probably one, maybe both here. No, one here. And one with wheat and flour here. I don't like what I did with the road, but maybe I can make it better this way. Yeah, why not? So the road will go like this, maybe? Why not? It will be hidden by the stones, which looks ugly. So destroy this one. And maybe I have to change the location of the bakery. Well, canceling. Thank you. I just thought I could do it this way, you know. And it still looks fine. Then,
There are survivors at the gate.
survivors. Who are these survivors? Are they from my settlement outside, or are they just random survivors?
A ragged bunch shuffles slowly towards the gate.
They're random. So I have children from there, 2 elders, 1 adult. Well, why not? Children are gonna grow up, and there is this natural turnover to my citizens. Hey Andy, I'm a friend and roommate of Justin. Solar Body TV. Wow, that's I guess an honor. Welcome, and I think that is the first case of which I know personally where somebody recommended my stream to somebody else, and well, I'm truly touched by that. So Justin, thank you, and Solar Body TV, welcome. I hope you enjoy what's happening here. And if you don't, let me know why. I'll try to become better in the future. Now, let's think about some decorations. Oh, my specialists keep bothering me. Hostiles defeated.
You won the battle.
Excellent. Oh, there is some signs. Yeah, Baron will definitely get killed. In this case, Lancaster is a scavenger, so let him scavenge clothes, and then signs, and then gasoline, and then pharmacy, pills, everything that I have uncovered. Is my engineer depot finished? Yes, it is. So I'm gonna create an engineer and send our Nelson to, for example, where? Maybe here, not too far from my place. And no, this one isn't marked by any sign, so I have to send somewhere else where there is a leaf or a shield or this strange line. Let's begin with a leaf. 3 turns until that moment. By the way, Evie is standing and waiting for something. She's waiting for Cub to finally arrive at the location. Or can she actually engage? No. She'll only engage next turn. Right. Do I have any homeless people? I don't, but I will have them very soon because look at this. Wait a second. No. Wait. Where are the survivors? They were supposed to come already, I guess, but they're not inside. Or are they? Maybe I actually missed that point. Could be, could be. And I've completely forgotten about winter. Winter is coming and I haven't yet checked that I have full coverage of heated zones. That I have heated zones everywhere, so I haven't checked if I have full coverage of my colony with heating equipment, let's say. Just because I kinda hate streaming at the end of the day because it feels like everything I'm saying is complete garbage from the logic standpoint and from the English language standpoint very often, and I constantly feel embarrassed, and then I stand up from my computer and feel like I'm, well, that I've been babbling about something with, well, you see, just I can't even express what I want to say here, partly because I'm also trying to understand where to place this water tower, but that doesn't really excuse me, to be honest. So, what to do? A big tower should save the day, but it's also more, you know, noticeable. And what if I place it next to the lake? It doesn't fit. I can place it here. And then it's kind of better. Oh, look. We already have overfilled food storage here. I wanted to only permit the flour and the wheat items here. Nothing else. Hopefully food here will be consumed soon and I won't have to struggle with relocating that manually. And I understand another food storage has been finished, which is somewhere here, already getting filled with stuff, but I only want to permit meals, nothing else. Oh, no, not meals, false Paul's logic. I want to permit bread and buns. That's all. Wow. Wow. Another person coming from Justing. Привет, меня зовут Ирон. Я хороший друг Justing. Я учу немного русский. That's very good Russian. Very good Russian. And then Justin writes, not at all true, my friend. You are very articulate. Well, thank you for support, but, well, I'm not. Believe me, I speak better when I speak in the morning and in the afternoon with my students, who are usually high-level students, and I have to keep the standard at some decent point. But yeah, I appreciate your words. You know, it's always different from an observer's perspective, right? And I also have a tendency to choose some more complex words and constructions, and then because of my, tiredness, I can get lost in my own logic, and it's very hard to finish a sentence. And partly the problem is that when you talk to yourself, it's actually hard to build up consistent logic, because when it is a conversation, like when you write something, it's much easier to respond, and so you kind of have a more consistent flow, and this way you are more supported in a conversation. And so thank you very much. YeTV, I have a question. How do you study Russian? Is it your own venture? Is it your own enterprise, or do you have a teacher who is I wonder, this teacher, if you have this teacher, if this person is Russian or somebody who also learned Russian as a second language. And what's your impression of my native language? Because I know it's it's a terribly difficult language to speak and to learn in the first place. And unlike, I don't want to make false statements, and that's a question to everyone, I guess. Do you have English at schools as a subject? Because I've heard that it's not very typical for English-speaking countries to have English as a subject to study, but I might be mistaken. So we in Russia study Russian from the first grade till the last grade, and that is 10, 11 years. And very often we have Russian in universities for the first and the second year, because we have to learn grammar, we have to learn punctuation. We have a lot of these like pitfalls where even, if you don't study that, you will definitely speak the language, but your writing will be just, incomprehensible. And it's kind of a norm. It's hard to imagine that anyone could not study Russian at school. I tried finding a teacher, but I taught myself. I began learning Russian from my ex, who was from Belarus. Ooh, it was hard in the beginning, but got easier over time. Splendid. I'm really impressed. So what level have you achieved? And it's you see how interesting it is that all the countries around the former Soviet bloc, that most of the countries there have Russian to some extent, and so all people from there normally would speak, at least in the previous decades, they would speak their native language and Russian. Yes, we have English, however, it's hardly up to the standard it should be in many cases. Often it depends on the schools you attend. Right. I wonder how this correlates with the fact that, when I was having my CELTA course, which is a Cambridge course for teachers, my fellow students / teachers, future to be teachers, they had kind of big issues with understanding even the simplest grammar. they could definitely use, you know, present perfect continuous and future perfect continuous and passives. And well, there was an ex-actor whose name was also Andy, and he had just marvelous vocabulary. I was just, I don't know, I was astonished at what kind of words he used and the pronunciation he had. That was a privilege to listen to him. But when he was asked, can you please, well, not explain, but even make a sentence with present continuous, he was completely confused because, well, that's a grammar term, and I imagine that not all, if not only a minority of English speakers can, well, have knowledge of English grammar. You're currently, ETV says, I'm currently at work level. Work level means that you can speak Russian enough to work with Russian speakers, I understand. Well, that's probably somewhere intermediate, like B1. And then, in my experience of school in Illinois, we learn English as a subject. It's mostly grammar, spelling, and literature. Oh, that's interesting. That completely changes the way I knew it. And so, well, I understand you learn tenses there. Intermediate, yes. Cool. That means that you might occasionally come to my streams when I stream in Russian, which probably happens too rarely, because that happens when I have when we celebrate Halloween. Sorry, I just need to make some action and then I'll come back to my point. And who else? Yeah, Vert has to take participation. Then Mr. Bark has to go fetch some insects here, and I have to organize a
A
feast.
small group of colonists have come up with an idea. Times are tough for everyone, and they'd like to organize a harvest feast to cheer people up.
There's more than enough doom and gloom going around already. It would require digging into the food stockpile though. Of course, let's have a large feast, getting a nice bonus, a nice boost to our mood. People are excited and rush to make arrangements, makeshift tables fill up with food and townsfolk. It's not exactly a feast worthy of kings and queens, but it lifts people's spirits more than anticipated. Done 25 happiness. Right, I see messages are popping up. This is very true. I have only begun to pick up grammatical concepts such as tense as I learn Greek. I must prepare for lecture. I'll see you later. Very true. I wish our teaching here about language in school was more in-depth. Well, that's an extremely interesting conversation to have here, and I'd love to continue at some point because I'm very curious what kind of English education you have there. If tenses are not included, then what kind of grammar is it about? Like, what kind of rules that could be, and what are you supposed to learn? Spelling, I understand, because a lot of English words are borrowed from French. Were borrowed from French and Latin and Greek and many other languages, and so your expectations of how words are written might be met with harsh reality, and well, will not meet this reality in the first place. Yeah, just think I have to wish you a nice lecture there. So thanks for talking to me, and I'm super grateful for the fact that you have brought your friends here. It's really a privilege. And have I answered everything? Well, I just wanted to say that, you know, when you speak Russian and when you know Russian grammar, it's kind of easy to learn, for example, Spanish in terms of grammar, because they have cases and we have cases. We have, you know, genders to our words, and they have genders to their words, like male, female. There are like changes to adjectives in numbers. So, and some other small concepts which to an English person, I mean to a person who speaks English, sorry, that's, I would suppose, alien, and you have to construct this abstract understanding of another language in your head. So, like ETV, I imagine you had a lot of trouble with learning those endless forms of verbs. Like, you know, it's funny that my students always complain like English is so difficult, like you have to learn 3 forms of a verb, like do, did, done, and then there is like does form and there is doing form, and then I have to tell like, well, people, that's like all you have to learn and nothing else, because it's just 5 words in English, 5 forms for one verb, but in Russian, well, you just take one verb and you can fill up a whole page with different forms of this verb, and that will be like prefixes, suffixes, endings, genders, numbers, variations, colloquial use, and well, there is no end to it, and people just don't know what they're talking about. And I always tell, like, if you think English is difficult, at least in terms of grammar, you should go and try Spanish maybe, or try to learn like Russian. Imagine that you are like a person who doesn't speak it and try to understand how complex it looks from afar. And the complexity with English is that the vocabulary you have to embrace is well, inconceivable. It's just you have to learn words every day, and you will never learn them all, because, well, there are new words each day, and you can always like switch from slang to like high style to some bookish English. You can go to some ancient English, to some obsolete expressions. You might choose to talk in like full forms. You can choose to talk in contracted language, and it's really endless. And I find it charming because you have so many ways to express yourself, but understandably, people are scared by that fact. ETV asks, ты живешь в России? Yes, I live in Russia. That was the question. And, well, I don't know if I should answer in English or in Russian. There was a meme about that, I think, on 4chan. Like, when you study Russian and then, you know, these green lines, like, a lot of complexities, and then anytime you want to talk to somebody Russian, and I think that was an American who wrote that. So anytime you want to talk to anyone in Russian, as soon as they learn that you are American, they switch to English without any way to like bring it back to Russian to practice it, because people want to practice English, and so there is no chance to practice. So I'll answer in Russian, just to, I don't know if you prefer me to do that, just in case. So, да, я живу в России. Я родом из Красноярска, из Сибири. Это восточная часть России, но вообще это самый центр России. А сейчас я переехал в Санкт-Петербург. Я думаю, ты знаешь про него, это вторая столица. Есть Москва, наша столица, и Санкт-Петербург чуть севернее. Вот, здесь я уже полгода. Now I'm gonna translate. I said that I am from Krasnoyarsk originally. That's a city in Siberia, the very center of Russia, but normally it's believed to be the east part of Russia, because it's like, you know, close to, not close to, but closer to China. And you have to travel 4,000 kilometers by plane. 4,000 kilometers. The transport is at your choice, at your discretion, but on a plane it takes 4.5 hours, and on a train it takes, I think, 3-4 days, depending on the train, to go from Krasnoyarsk to Moscow, or to go from Krasnoyarsk to St. Petersburg. And yeah, now I have moved to St. Pete's, and I've spent here 6 months already, because I just wanted to live in a bigger city. I wanted new challenges. Yeah. Solar Buddy says, I'd be interested in hearing both. I'm interested in learning bits and pieces of Russian. I want to... Let me do one thing. I'm going to go on Twitch now to open the chat, and I know it's kind of self-advertising, which is not what I do normally. I just had a series of streams with my students or friends or well, my English club members about how they learned English, and most of them are upper intermediate and advanced students, and so they just shared their tips about how they did that. And there were 10 episodes, 10 interviews, and those were all conducted in Russian, and so maybe it might be interesting to you. I've just dropped the link. Yeah, it is the How I Made My English series. Yes, I appreciate the attention you gave here. Yes, it's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, I know it's maybe not the best like quality content. Well, I like to be self-humiliating, but it's just that streaming and interviewing people is a very new field for me. Yeah. Right.
There are not many factions out there who are capable of using vehicle convoys to transport anything valuable across the wasteland. But those who are capable usually make sure that the convoys are well guarded and change their routes frequently.
One of those convoys was spotted not too far away, and for some reason, this time they seemed to be taking the same road as before. This could be a chance to get ahead of them and see if fortune favors the bold. Yeah, let's search for that. You're welcome, YTV. Пожалуйста. And having you on my stream brings me back to my old dreams about having podcasts on various linguistic language topics, maybe just education topics. And there was an English club I had offline for many years. With the pandemic, I had to go online. I had, I think, 10 episodes of some kind of like club meetings online. They also recorded, and they are on my YouTube channel called Bonfire Meetings. That didn't really take off because of many reasons. But I think the most outstanding reason was that I didn't have much participation from people. I mean, I didn't have, you know, this this glowing interest in eyes. I mean, from some people I did have that, and I immensely appreciated that, but I wanted to have more coverage. I wanted to have more versatility of topics. I wanted to have more contribution and commitment from the participants, and I'm still harboring this dream to have it at some point. So should you be interested in having some kind of a dialogue in English or in Russian, some kind of like an educational meeting, online meeting, I can invite some very sophisticated and interested students from my side, people I work with now. They are like IT guys, or there are managers, there are some other professions who generally take advantage of knowing English. And I could invite you, and you will ask or propose your topics, ask questions or propose your topics, and we also can put forward some suggestions for discussion. If you think that might be interested, I'm ready to organize that and make all the necessary contacts. And so if you think that might get your attention at some point in the future, please let me know. Here on Instagram, on Twitch, you can send me a private message. So I'm actually, if this happens, it's a very great opportunity for me, because I dream of more social interaction. I love moderating meetings and all sorts of like discussional clubs, you know. Yeah. Let's see what our specialists are up to.
We won the battle.
Right, I can scavenge for these antibiotics, and this one will kill you. You're a scout. 15 damage per 12 hours also kills you. Oh, there are pills as well. Now, this one should leave you alive with 6 hit points. And you can gather the remaining pieces of clothing here and then return to the colony. Lancaster has collected science points, and you can go and collect fuel. The engineer is ready to create an outpost, and I need an ecosystem outpost, right? Yes.
Outpost.
Right. So UTV, let me know how I can contact you, and when, or maybe when and how. Yeah. But at the same time, I guess it's been how many minutes? Like 30 minutes that you have known me for, and you probably want to have a better understanding of what kind of a person, a teacher, a streamer, a moderator I am, without hasty bridging. And if you feel reluctant yet to commit to anything, I would totally understand that, because well, because I'm myself a very careful person. I try to pick who I engage with carefully. I'm very, very finicky about communication, yeah. So, a wandering merchant.
Closes the gate, squeaking and creaking under the heavy load inside.
Well, if I need something, it's not science. Sorry. I have 7,000 scientific points, and by the way, I have totally forgotten to research something. Not that I need anything actually, but just to put this tick that I have finished all the technology research. It would be nice. And I can hire a specialist. Hakim. He spent most of his life as an overqualified village doctor, tending to common illnesses and injuries. When the apocalypse came, he couldn't turn away from the suffering and ended up living for a larger city nearby. But after that, there was another place needing his help, and another, and another, and another, and another. So his speed is 7, research rate is high, attack damage is low, scavenge is kinda mediocre. So I'll recruit him only to make him another engineer. Engineer depot constructed. Let's prioritize it. And, sorry, misclick. Let's send them to collect more meat, I guess. Sorry. Of course, I'll contact via Instagram. Nice. That's a very nice idea. That's a very cool idea. What else? I'm not, by the way, mining for any plastic, which could become a problem at some point, and I have to have some prepared solution. For example, I might have a recycler not far from the plastic storage, plastic deposit, for example here, and then build a road to that spot like that, and have them collect this garbage. Whoa, what's happening with my eyes? Sorry, that's what? I don't know why I thought there was a plastic spot there. Maybe the tree branch kind of misguided me. So let's destroy the road. Sorry, guys, I didn't want to waste your precious energy. How would you classify this game? Would you say it's an RTS? Real-time strategy. I'm not very familiar with such games. I'm interested in the concept of games like these, but I don't play many of them. Making them walk in the snow, huh? Yeah, I actually walked in the snow today a lot. Came with my feet completely wet because there was a snowfall in the city, and I now wear sneakers, and well, they're not really waterproof, but I'm totally fine with that. I don't get cold from that, and it's actually fun. The snow is falling, it's Christmas mood. Well, Christmas finished 1 month ago, but who cares? I still got really merry about that. Yeah, answering your question, the game, if you go to its Steam page, I think it will say something like strategy, survival, city building, and real time, and maybe post-apocalyptic setting. So there is a bunch of games you can check out. Well, let me go to the chat again, and I'll drop you, for example, what's that called now? I hear my own voice. What's that called? End Zone, I think. End Zone, A World Apart. Surviving the Aftermath, the game I'm playing now, was being developed in the same, like at the same time with End Zone, A World Apart, and they look quite differently, to be honest. End Zone is more brown, that's the first thing I noticed myself, and it's more, well, it's more about micromanagement. It has, as the reviews say on Steam, has insane amounts of micromanagement, and not everyone is satisfied with that. But overall, it has to be a decent game as well. Although I refunded it. I bought it, but then I was like, nah, I love Surviving the Aftermath a lot more. Let me check the messages. No, there's nothing new. So, what else could you try? So I love strategic games, so I probably can give you some recommendations. If not now, then definitely later in private messages. But I just need to understand what exactly you mean by such games. Would you say these types of games promote a sharper brain? It definitely looks complex and complicated. Wow, that deserves well, an online discussion, a full-fledged online discussion. Like, do games actually develop anything? I don't know. I guess, well, what I usually say, and I've been joking about that, half joking, we have been talking with my girlfriend about some city management stuff, like, for example, St. Petersburg now has problems with snow cleaning, and you know, a lot of cities, not in my country only, but in many countries, suffer from bad like logistics and bad road management and bad intersections and bad well, like placement of housing areas, placement of business areas, and well, dozens if not hundreds of other issues. And that happens partly because nobody knew when cities were constructed, founded, that Henry Ford at some point would make cars on a conveyor belt, and that cars would be everywhere. And now we have that, and we have to reconcile with that. And new cities, of course, are built with this in mind, but even those cities are not always successfully placed, successfully managed. So the thing I usually say here is that you have to take proficient players, those who play, for example, City Skylines or SimCity strategic games, and ask them to literally work for the government and help the government take care of everything, because those guys they're basically obsessed with city planning, with this micromanagement, with this almost microscopic management, like where the road should go and how and why, and well, thousands of such questions. And so if you compensate their labor properly, and if you select, I think there has to be some differentiation, like people who just waste their lifetime because they don't want to do something else, like they're just slacking and they play games because that's escapism for them, so they just don't want to face the reality. And there are people who just enjoy building cities, there are people who just enjoy planning, there are people who just enjoy strategic thinking, people who enjoy aesthetics. And I'm not only talking about strategic games, sorry, I'm talking about games in general. Like games can identify certain traits in a person, and those traits are very, very needed in real world. And so if you watch closely, a game can tell you who your son or daughter can become in the future, and then you have to carefully push them towards there. And so yeah, so City Skylines is probably a really massive simulator. I'm afraid to even start that, because I know I'll get lost, because I played Tropico the 4th, I play this strategic game, I played Pharaoh and Cleopatra from was that Firaxis? Or no, I think it was a different studio. So, you know, those old school strategic games, and many, many more. And to get another strategic game into this pool, it's just, well, it will take too much of my time. So, answering your question, I think games can definitely identify traits and probably help you develop them, especially if you see that yourself, so you can just make that, you can let those traits manifest during your playtime. Like you can be more attentive to details and polish your skills, and then go to the real world and well, build up a competence. So, besides that, let's take Civilization, for example. Civilization offers a player a real comprehensive look into history, together with Pharaoh and Cleopatra, together with Caesar, together with many other games that are based in our world. And so you don't want that, because you are a child. For example, I began playing Civilization when I was, I think, 10 years old. It was Civilization the First, and I didn't understand much, but I really learned a lot about history, about types of units, about historical buildings, about civilizations, about names of famous, prominent leaders of past times. And then from many other games, I enhanced my vocabulary. Like usually the most proficient English speakers are the ones that have spent a lot of time with games, for example, because games offer a very complicated vocabulary. Dota the second, well, just Dota 2, I should say, probably. Dota 2 has incredible writing. Each skill, each artifact, biography of a hero, lots of very high-level language, idioms, and I don't know. I've actually created several lessons based on Dota 2 characters, and I've taught them. And I don't know why nobody talks about that, but Dota contains a lot of wonderful language. League of Legends, the same story. Hundreds of other games, the same story. That recent RPG, Torment Tides of Numenera, has such complex vocabulary that I read native speakers complained about the difficulty they had to face with understanding what the game was talking about, because, well, that was just such intricate language. Disco Elysium is a masterpiece of literature itself. So that's another benefit you get from games. It's enhancing your language capabilities. So I hope that answers your question. I know it's not a full answer, but that's probably the best I can come up with spontaneously speaking. I like the points you're making about citizen planning, etc. I like your response about games being able to help with real-world scenarios. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that much about language and video games. Language is probably the biggest contribution to one's baggage, cultural baggage. Yeah, it's language in the first place. At least what I have seen in my profession. Now, I think I didn't finish the point about city management. So you take players and you sort out, like you sort those who just procrastinate from those who want to create something more tangible, and you hire them, you give them salaries, and just send them to make your city perfect. And they will do that because that's the only thing they want to do. They want to make life better. They just are not given enough trust because, you know, like, that person just plays games all the time. No, this person actually learns about the world this way. Like, we don't say that people who watch movies or read books or, I don't know, play, I don't know, like, who play mobile games secretly, you know, or who watch TV series. We don't say that they're, like, geeks and nerds, but somehow video game players are labeled this way, and it's a terrible injustice. It's terrible injustice. So so I rest my case. I think people who play strategy games consciously because they want to improve things in real life as well have to be hired and have to make the world better with their skill that they have been polishing in some simulated reality. Right. Mingati goes back to the camp. You go back to the camp. You're scavenging. Sorry. You're scavenging. You're walking. You're scavenging. Right. Let's give orders. You go collect planks. You go to the world map. You go collect meat. You go collect wood here, also planks. You go to the world map. No, wait. Hakim, you go and become an engineer. Unfortunately, I like you, but somebody has to get me some life support points and defense points, right? And that will be you. Go here. Now, somebody ready with... I see. You can do something for me, but are you going to give me enough damage? No, you can go and do the mission, right? Yeah, please.
What do we have here?
Let me see the messages. That's a good way of looking at video games. Having a conscious goal almost, as opposed to just mindlessly playing. Do you play chess? So let's begin with the chess question. No, UTV, I don't play chess. I did many years ago with my grandfather and my with my father sometimes, but you know, I was playing Heroes 5 just a couple of hours ago, and I call them some more differentiated chess. I also think Dota and League of Legends and maybe MOBA games are also chess, just more dynamic, more diversified, and well, more spectacular. With no offense to chess, I know it's a great sport and millions of people love it, but I'm not a fan, unfortunately. And maybe could you tell me why you're asking? Are you a chess player yourself? And addressing what Sorbody TV said, like, why I play games on streams? Because I want to optimize my time to the maximum. Like, I am an English teacher who has to perfect his skills all the time, so that's why I go online, and in very vulnerable and exposed manner I try to speak. I try to, well, articulate my thoughts, also playing at the same time, which is quite complicated, I must say, and I sometimes fail. I'm also I hope I'm practicing my pronunciation, but I think I'm so tired at points that my muscles are very lazy and I massacre my pronunciation. I don't know, it's like I understand you're natives and you probably can tell me better. So also I'm playing games in English that enhances my vocabulary, that enhances my range of lexis. And also I'm taking care of my entertainment. Like I enjoy playing games. I truly enjoy that. That's one of my most favorite activities in life, has been for years, for my whole life. Games, books, English, well, helping people, I think. So like some core activities that I believe are my missions in life, I just try to unite them to the maximum. So again, it's a very conscious choice to me. Injured colony specialist in danger, and hunting crew is being researched. I haven't yet constructed all my turbines. I can order more. 49 components. And I want to sell basic tools. I want to sell mealworms. I want to sell fuel. And I guess I want to sell some prime meat. And that's it, I guess. Nobody else sells components, which is really sad, but have to concede. Next thing is what's happening here. I'm missing components for that. Perfect. Wonderful. Radiator has to be prioritized because the school is freezing here, guys. What are you doing? Bakeries are producing bread, and here it has to produce buns. The good news is that these two food storages are not yet full. I always love comparing certain esports video games to chess. I'm a chess player. Well, I now can see that. So I'd like to ask you, out of my long present curiosity, why do you think chess is still attractive to you as a game? Like, you have a very large choice of games that resemble the principal strategic, tactical aspects of many RPG tabletop games can probably like constitute a real big competition to chess, and still you play chess. So is it something that has been with you for many years and that's why you think it stays, or it's just that you think chess is well, has some advantages that games cannot compare to? So what do you think? I don't like how the road goes here. Kind of looks ugly. Let's change it to, for example, maybe this way. I'm talking so much today about linguistics that I'm kinda failing to really pay attention to my colony. What saves the situation is that I kinda remember what has to be done. But still, I'm not doing the best job, to be honest. Well, let's construct a small water tower here. Yeah, here, I think. And then what about the heating system here? It's still not completed. Specialist in danger, I don't care. Nobody's in danger, I'm sure of that. Turbine is still idle. Why are you idle? And Mr. Bark is going to the mission. Turbine can go and fight somewhere. Let's find the place to fight. I'm sure there are still some bandits on the map. Mm. Here we go. Bandits. I found them. Go here. Lancaster has scavenged fuel. Go scavenge some antibiotics. The engineer hasn't yet arrived, but we'll do that next turn. And Mr. Bark should go to the mission place. Why does the voiceover fail always when I want to have a sip from my cup? A convoy of several trucks has stopped on the side of an old highway. Black smoke plumes out from the engine compartment of the lead vehicle. This is most likely the reason for their behavior during the run. There are only 3 armed guards and a few more truck drivers arguing about something. Let's repair the vehicle for free. Specialist greets the convoy from a safe distance, and unsurprisingly, the guards pull out their weapons against the newfound threat. After some explaining and convincing to aid with the repairs, the guards calm down a bit. A few sweaty moments later, the vehicle comes back to life and guards start to look less alarmed than before. The drivers pull up parts of the hull as a sign of gratitude before taking off. 20 medicine boxes, 50 cans and 20 happiness gained. I can also send Mr. Bark to help Turbine with dispatching bandits here. Wow, there are massive messages to read. I'm drinking tea, to answer the simplest question. It's green tea with strawberry flavor. Yeah. Have you heard of the game Escape from Tarkov? I have. It reminds me similar to the points you're making in playing games in different language or culture than your own. The game is based in Russia and has many elements of Russian culture, I'd say. For example, different foods. I've learned about Alyonka from the game. Alyonka, I guess the chocolate. Yeah, it's a very, very important cultural, what's that? I think token or concept or phenomenon. This is no longer the best chocolate you can find in Russia, but it still is, I guess, integral to our culture. Yeah, along with many other things. So Escape from Tarkov, I haven't played myself, but I have heard of that, as I said. And yeah, actually more and more games, I think, take place in Russia. Couple of RPGs, Escape from, Trudograd, I think, and another RPG of the same style. In Disco Elysium, Grad was a reference to, I think, the Soviet bloc, if not to Russia itself. And what else? Metro, Exodus, and other Metro games, I think, have clear references, if not just... Yeah, they actually are about Russia, I think. So that's why I don't feel the necessity to play that, because I'm not going to make some silly jokes about how, well, wild life in Russia is. It's not wild, it's very civilized, and we are, I think, complaining more than we should about how we live here. We actually have a lot of civilization benefits, but I just don't want to feel the vibe from the games about Russia, because I live in this vibe. But I understand why it might be interesting to you. Let me address the bandits and then I'll respond to the rest of the questions. Who are these bandits? A group of bandits has snuck up on the colony. I don't remember what happens here, so let me just prepare myself just in case. Save the game at the risk, on the risk slot, and check.
A group of bandits have appeared at the gate, seemingly out of thin air.
Several skillfully camouflaged and well-armed individuals are ready to charge and wreak havoc on the colony. Taking them down will be hard, but not impossible. One of them approaches the gate. This is your first and last chance. Give up the goods or we'll attack. Let's try to bribe them. The leader pauses to think through her options. Okay, we managed to avoid fighting, which I'm very satisfied about. Let me go back to chat. I feel like chess has many opportunities, writes UTV. It is a game that I feel makes me think more, makes me want to think faster when timed in a game. I see the word sirok. Oh, yeah, they are iced over, you know, with chocolate, with this chocolate glazing. Yeah, there are so many memes about siroks, actually. Like, there are some siroks that are, well, I have to explain to those who don't know. Sirok is um, cottage cheese. It's curds, not, you know, grained, but it's very, very like mashed potato, the same consistency. Uh, but it's curds, it's cottage cheese, and very sweet as well. And then it's covered with chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Inside you can find condensed milk, boiled condensed milk, some strawberry jam, some well, lots of variations. And there are cheap sirops and there are expensive sirops, and those that are expensive I believe to be the sign of your richness. Like, if you buy them, you're really you're really well off, you're a respectful person, you earn a lot, and yeah, that like shows that you can afford to buy. Well, like, nobody talks about like expensive cars. If you buy the certain brand of Xerox, you are a rich person. Now back to the more serious question about chess. Yeah, that's, I think, why chess is a sport and believed to be a very serious discipline, because you have to be really mentally trained to play the game.
Ragged bunch shuffle slowly towards the
I don't think I want to have them. 3 children, 2 elders, get the hell out of here. Right. Games that are based in Russia, interesting to me. I was just about to ask if you played or heard the Metro series. Metro Exodus, I've watched a playthrough. I don't think I did that till the end of the game, but somewhere around, and that was a very visually satisfying experience. And in terms of gameplay, it was also decent. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it at all, but yeah, it's a nice one, and the manner of communication, at least, that was displayed in the game is very, very true. Like, Russians have a tendency to talk loud. No, I forget what I have said just now, because Russians are different. I myself am a very different Russian. Some people call me Russian phobic, but I just always say that Russian people could try better and do more. And at the same time, we are proud of wrong things. We can be proud of many other things like IT achievements and scientific achievements. We are not. And also Russians tend to criticize their country a lot and complain about how terrible we are. And we are also demonized a lot in mass media. So it's actually a political question. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up even. Yeah. Sirog B.U. Alexandrov, that is what I love. Man, that's just insane, you know that. I didn't want to mention that, just not to confuse you, but now that I see that you know that, I'm gonna tell a story, a sad story actually, but let me first read the previous messages. That game is beautiful. I haven't played through it myself yet. It was about Metro, I guess. Yeah, Sirog B.U. Alexandrov is that expensive Sirog that I was talking about, and lamentably, the founder of the company passed away 2 or 3 months ago, and there were a lot of memes and pictures about that on Russian internet, crying over his death and saying how much he has done for our food industry, and well, that gave a renaissance for the actually never finishing flow of memes about that Sirok. So yeah, you hit the right spot here. It's like bullseye commentary about B.U. Alexandrov. It's so Alexandrov is the surname, B.U. The initials, the name, and the patronymic. Yeah. All right. The winter has passed, and I haven't even noticed what was happening. Boris Yurievich? Yeah, so it's Boris Yurievich Alexandrov. My girlfriend is helping me with the full in November. He died in November. Yeah, unfortunately. Nice. Yes. So, yeah, rest in peace. I thank you for that commentary. I ate a lot of Russian treats from Russia. I love it so much. I even brought my friends to a Russian restaurant. Well, not to spark any holy war about what food is Russian and what is not. Like, for example, if you say borscht, you're kind of stepping over the border where beyond which holy war might start. Like, who does borscht belong to? Like, to Ukrainians or to Russians or to somebody else? So what I usually say is Slavic cuisine, like a cuisine that is present in most Slavic countries. Of course, there are differences. I think Ukraine has a different choice of dishes and their own names for them. So, yeah, they're not the same thing, but certain things are, I would say, well, cross-cultural, belong to the Slavic bloc. For colonists are homeless, I have to build homes for them, I guess. Let's pick a location for those wretched souls. And they might live, for example, here, at least for some time, maybe a small house. I don't want to make this hasty decision. Okay, guys, let's do the following. I'm gonna save my game here because it's already 13 minutes after midnight in my place, and I have to be finishing very soon. Just to respect my neighbors and to respect quietness of the flat and to have some rest myself. But I'm gonna respond to the last messages of yours. Let me see. Ukrainian pelmeni is one of my favorites. Yeah, pelmeni is dumplings, or dim sum, I think, in Pan-Asian cuisine. And in Italy, they are called ravioli. So that's some meat or something else wrapped in dough and boiled or fried. Yeah. I appreciated the stream and conversation. Thank you, Solar Body TV. Thank you, Yi TV. My regards to Justin. I guess you'll have a chance to say hello to him again from me. And I'm really grateful for having you here. Looking forward to our further conversations about whatever you want, like games, linguistics, science, Russian, food. I have a lot of questions, so I hope we might meet at some point, not within this plain context, but maybe some like real online call on Google Meet, on Zoom, or somehow else. And looking forward to seeing you all. I'm gonna stop my recording and streaming. Hello to YouTube. See you somewhere in the nearest future at the weekend. Yeah, I think somewhere at the weekend on one of the days, either Saturday or Sunday. And yeah, that's all. I'll definitely be asking more questions about food in the future, and I'll send you regards to Justin. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, stay safe and bye-bye. Cheers.